Hey, welcome back to Two Ski Geeks. It's your boy Will Call. Happy to be with you. Been away from me for a while, as I say this all the time, because it's really actually kind of hard to come up with content that is relevant to what's going on, but not where I'm overkilling you with things that everybody else is doing. In particular, this is a Happy New Year 2024, January 1st show, and everyone was doing their favorite books of or their favorite books of 2023 and purchases and things like that. So I guess in order to somewhat stay in that vein and yet keep things a little bit fresh, because I'm going to do a little bit more than just favorite books that I acquired and favorite things that I acquired, but I'm also going to try to keep this brief. But there are a few things that I'll talk about so far as the comic book business. But let's get into new acquisitions immediately. This book right here, and I'm not going to use a document cam today. This book right here is called I Som. This book is one of the new books. It's actually kind of pricey by Eric July. And Cliff Richards as the artist. This is a kind of pricey book, and it's not just a comic book. It's actually almost like a trade paperback, and it's issue number one. I have to get the other books, but I'm actually very proud to have this one in the collection. And actually, I had to think twice about getting it because again, it's not necessarily a cheap book, even though it's a new book. But I highly recommend getting this one. I saw John Michael. I know he was looking to getting that book, and so recommend that one. Another acquisition that I thought I'm very proud of, and I've shown this to you in the previous show. This Blade the Vampire Slayer. This was Blade's first solo story by himself in a book about him, not just when he was appearing in Werewolf by Night. His first appearance in the comic book, I think, is number 30. No. I can't remember what number it is, but it's in Werewolf by Night, his first appearance. But this is his first solo story by himself. And I bought this one this year. Not in the best shape, but I do have it. And nice to and proud to have Blade in my collection in his first solo. Going into more things that I bought this year. Trying to move this on very quickly. New acquisition or old acquisition. I bought this when I was down in Tuskegee, staying in Atlanta after I left Tuskegee. This House of Mystery number 193. And of course, as you know me, I always like something about voodoo. And so I saw this in the bookstore in the Book Nook down there in Atlanta and knew I had to pick this up. And it's in pretty doggone good shape. It looks probably somewhere between a 5 to a 6.5 in grading. So this is a nice one to have. I'm gonna put that aside because again, I'm not trying to dilly dally with you guys because it's a lot that I have to show, but I don't want to kill your time. This is a new book, one of the new books in a new series that just came out called Batman Gargoyle Gotham, and this is a high ratio variant on this book, and I thought it was a beautiful cover. I'm not sure who the artist is on this cover, but this is it's a black label. It's one of DC's more mature label. And they say the black label is a mature story for mature readers. And so, yeah, if you can find this one, as you can see, I paid a little bit more for it. It's paid about $25 just because it's a high ratio variant, but it's gorgeous. I love the blacks on it. It's an amazing cover, and Batman himself in this picture looks like a gargoyle. So love this one. Okay. And then, okay, while I'm here, I got stuff here just stacked around me. I bought this for myself for Christmas, this old school Batmobile, 1940s Batmobile, Hot Wheels, another gorgeous thing to have. And I love the old wing, the old Batman wing that they have here. That's just an amazing looking figure of just a car. And speaking of Batman things that I acquired this year that I thought were really cool, This was actually a gift from my brother-in-law. This Batman from the Flash movie with the Michael Keaton version of Batman, and also I bought with Michael Keaton version in the Flash movie, and as well I bought the Flash movie on DVD. But and I think that there's a little glare on this, so I'm going to try to bring it a little closer to you so it's a little more clear. But I thought this was an amazing figure to have, this Michael Keaton version of Batman action figure. Real cool. I appreciate you, Yale, and for getting this for me. And Merry Christmas. Your Christmas present is on the way to you. I'll be putting it in the mail tomorrow, even though it'll be January 2nd when I send it. However, you will get it. And since I know you're a fan of Batman, uh, actually, I'm just sending you one of these. So be prepared to get your socks knocked off with one of these, Yale. And so other acquisitions. This is, of course, Rodney Barnes' book. We talked about Rodney Barnes even when we interviewed him in another show earlier in the show, probably like episode like five to somewhere between 5 to 10 when we interviewed Rodney Barnes. But anyway, this is a second print of number one. I didn't have a second print at all, and with a silver in it because the first print has red writing, and so this is a second print. Is gorgeous. It's rarer than the first print, and I also like just the silver writing in it. And the artist on it, of course, is Jason Shawn Alexander. And I bring Jason Shawn Alexander up because of the fact that in looking at Rodney's writing in Killadelphia, I'm going to go into some newer stuff. This is one of the newer books on Killadelphia, and I love this variant on this book that Jason Shawn does in Killadelphia. And this is number 21. But just that I love Jason Shawn's work. Just incredible. And if you didn't know, and the reason why I'm going in this and I'm flowing in this direction is because Jason Shawn is actually doing the covers on what main book? Detective Comics right now. This is Detective Comics. This is number, where are you? 1078. So, yeah. And I think he started on number 1077. No, in fact, I've got these in backwards order. So I went from 1078 to 1077, and now going back to 1076, his first book cover on Batman Detective Comics. And Jason Shawn Alexander is just smashing everything he does. He's such an amazing artist. And I got his autograph on some books too. I've got I got an autograph of his on some books as well. And I'm just very elated to have those books and to be willing and be able to promote Jason Shawn Alexander. Look him up on the internet and look at his work. Some amazing stuff. Regardless of that, okay. So I bought this as well. This is a new acquisition for me, and I actually bought the entire series. It'll be coming in on eBay, but this is called Men of War, and this is the story of a Gravedigger. And Gravedigger is a black character. This is a 1977 book, and Gravedigger is a black character from World War II, and in which the story is really about the grave digging platoon picking up the casualties from off the battlefield, and it being a dangerous mission to go get those casualties, and how Gravedigger, I can't think of his last name, but his name is Hazard. I think his last name is Hazard or something like that. Anyway, him and the grave digging platoon, how they get engaged with the Germans in World War II as they try to get casualties from the battlefield, or try to evacuate, even not casualties, but try to get folks off the battlefield as quickly as possible in a safe manner without getting killed themselves. Real cool story, and I think the entire lot, I think it's about a 10 issue series, but I can't wait to get mine pretty soon in the mail. It wasn't very expensive. It's actually very affordable if you can find a lot of the books. Or lot means a bunch of a bunch of the books in the same title or the same run. And so next one that I bought, two copies of Star Wars number 43, the first appearance of Lando Calrissian. One is a newsstand, and one is a trade. I'm sorry, no, doggone it, not a newsstand, but the doggone comic book store, a comic shop, or direct order copy. And but I'm proud to have both, and I'm loving the fact that the newsstand is actually prettier and has darker colors the than the direct copy. And so I'm very proud to have that. And I'm hoping this year's BlurredCon, when it comes back to the DC area, that Billy D. Williams will come back this year. I pray for his health, and I pray he's healthy enough to come back, because these are going to get signed by Billy D. And so can't wait. We'll see what happens in July, and pray for his health, and that we can get that. And I know it's selfish of me, but hey, our elders are getting older, and I mean much older, and their ability to travel and relate to people, and for us to give homage to their work that they've done, uh, those opportunities are getting fewer and fewer in between. So I can't wait. Anyway, first appearance of the Creeper in Showcase number 72. And this is a pretty good copy as well. It's probably about a five, maybe 5.5 copy of the first appearance of the Creeper. It's a Steve Ditko creation. As you can tell, the way he somewhat looks by some of the early Amazing Spider-Man, the way Steve Ditko draws. Also, he has Shade the Changing Man is another one of his creations. But Steve Ditko was a longtime fabulous artist. And I know, even though he and Stan Lee had their falling out, but Ditko, he did some great stuff. And this is one of his prime characters that he created outside of helping to create Spider-Man. Okay, and then we've got some Alex Ross stuff, and I'll just hold these up because these are not really expensive books, but these are Alex Ross books that he did for redoing for Teen Titans, and this is a re-release of Teen Titans #1, and this is, of course, this book here is an homage to the new Teen Titans that George Perez did back in 1980, probably 81, 82, something like that. And so I know that, yeah, but Alex Ross does a fantastic job of doing an homage painted cover. And of course, then you have Coriander, or Starfire, who is also depicted here. But this is a full Starfire cover by Alex Ross. Gorgeous work, gorgeous work that Alex Ross does. And for once, when he does a female, I mean, it's not always, but the face doesn't look too mannish. This is my only critique of Alex Ross's work. Sometimes he draws females and they look like men in the face. I bought this during the Thrawn hype of Ahsoka. I bought this action figure of Star Wars Rebels Thrawn. Just an awesome figure to have. And you guys know, if you look at some of the earlier shows a while back, probably a few months ago, I was nuts and goo gaga about Thrawn. And if you do some reading of the novels, you'll figure out why. But and also watching Star Wars Rebels. But real cool to have this. And then I also bought, speaking of Ahsoka action figure as well. Beautiful, gorgeous figure. And this is the Star Wars Black Series action figure. That's just plain gorgeous. So anyway, Held that up long enough. And then I came across and reacquired. So glad to get this back in my collection because I surely can't find it in my collection downstairs. Brother Voodoo, Strange Tales number 169. Uh, got this during Baltimore Comic Con. Very happy to have this one. Yes. To get, and so now I have the full first introduction again of Brother Voodoo. This one was missing, but I have it again. Sadly, I had to pay a lot more for it than I paid the first time, but I don't care. I'm glad to have it. And if I ever find it, that means maybe I'll have two copies of it somewhere, but at least I know where this one is. So, Brother Voodoo. And then this gem right here, My Greatest Adventure, number 80. And if you guys don't know what this is the first appearance of what's at the very top, the Doom Patrol. This is the very first appearance of the Doom Patrol in comic books. And it's in great shape. Yeah. I believe this will probably garner probably about a 7. Yeah, probably about a 7. I'll get it pressed and cleaned or whatever before sending it in. But this is fantastic. I love that I got this, and as you see, Robot Man here in the bottom, Mr. the Negative Man, uh, and because I know the girl was I don't recall her being that tiny, so I have to figure out. I think it's the same girl that's in Doom Patrol now, but I don't recall her being tiny. I remember her having the ability to stretch, but I don't recall her having the ability to miniaturize herself. So anyway, happy to have this. And then for one of the famous authors, uh, who is known for gorgeous depictions and drawings of women, this House of Mystery, Elvira's House of Mystery, by the artist Dave Stevens. Dave Stevens is known again for for just drawing and depicting women in a gorgeous way. As this cover, it's a testament to his work. And so yeah, this is an awesome one to have. And it is also in great shape. Paid up a little bit for it, not much. You can see the price is not bad, but surely it's not cover. And this is an 80s book, of course, because Elvira came out in the 80s. And so real cool to have this one. All righty. I think we're getting down somewhat to the end of what I want to show so far as acquisitions. So this is a Barbie of Black history superhero, so far as I'm concerned. Her courage was what she did in order to she was a writer, and she captured and traveled through the South in the late 1800s, going into the early 1900s, and cataloging, making sure that those who were Black and African Americans who were lynched, she would capture the make sure that their records and those persons weren't forgotten. So she went throughout the South capturing and writing and publishing about Black men who were lynched in the South. This is Ida B. Wells. And of course, I'm wearing a T-shirt with Ida right here. But this is a Barbie doll of Ida B. Wells. I bought my sister one because Ida is also one of my sisters, my younger sisters, one of her favorite heroes in history, or heroines in history. So I bought two of them at the same time, gave one to my sister for her birthday, and this is one I held for myself. Really, really, really cool to have this one. And so Ida, Ida's going back here right for now. And already, and in this box here, if you look at the cover, who's on the cover, his favorite, his own little self depiction, Scotty Young. I bought some books from Scotty Young, and So with his autograph on them, this is Batman Off-World, Scotty Young. And I think there's two of them in, yeah, there are two of them in here, with a certificate of authenticity, with Scotty Young and his autograph being on the books here. And I had, like I said, I have two of them. And this is just a real cool cover that Scotty does. I'm not always a big fan of his work, but this one impressed me. So I had to jump on this one and score that one and buy it directly from him on his site. And looking at the mailbox cover, if you need to order, he comes from Stupid Fresh Press. I'm sorry, Stupid Fresh Mess. I'm sorry, is Scotty's business, and from ScottyYoung.com. And so really, really cool. Thank you, Mr. Young, for sending this to me. I'll send these off, one of these to be graded, and keep one for reading and just putting up on the wall as a trophy. But anyway, okay, new books ish. And well, I'll take that back. We'll go into stuff that I'm going to recommend to read. And I debated about having this to read or recommend to read, because of the fact that with the political climate of our country today, uh, with conspiracy theories running rampant, this book that I'm going to recommend is a fantastic superhero story, but it's full of conspiracy theories, but based upon pulp heroes from the 1920s, much like, where do I have it around? I put it away. I don't have it around, like The Shadow and Doc Savage, and who, oh man, the Lone Ranger, there are all kinds of characters in this book, but it's based upon conspiracy theories, uh using superheroes, even to the point of getting to the point, even including up to this, from the pre-golden age all the way up to the silver age with the Fantastic Four. There are all kinds of characters in this book, and it was actually fun. This book came out in the early 2000s, and it is a fun read, uh, but again, full of conspiracies, and the I guess the language of it can be a little rough. Uh, but I really did enjoy the book back in the day. So this is a trade paperback. This is the first issue. This is the first print of the trade paperback of the Planetary, and I think there are probably like 3 or 4 of them. I have 2 of the trade paperbacks, but when I read this, in fact, I bought this first back in the day. I bought the trade paperback and I read it and I couldn't put it down. So then I went back and started buying the books themselves, the comic books themselves. And so this is the first preview of the Planetary comic book. This is a preview series of it, and it's gorgeous. John Cassaday is the artist, and Warren Ellis is the writer. And again, because even with the writer himself, Warren Ellis has gotten himself into trouble, and yeah, he's gotten himself into trouble. You can look that up, but it's still a very good book. It's a fresh perspective about old superheroes, and like I said, from pre-golden age, almost from the 1800s all the way up to the early 1960s. This is a great read, and so that's the preview. This is the first edition. I'm sorry, first number one. This is the first number one issue of the book, and this is what it looks like. Number one of Planetary, and it was like archaeologists of the impossible. I mean, it's a fun read, but even though it is controversial, but anyway, but it's still a great read. And this is the final issue, number 27 of Planetary. So you got issues 1 through 27. I have the full run. I believe I have the full run twice. That's how much I enjoyed the run of the series, and This book right here, the number 27, I think and you guys can correct me in the comments, but I think it took probably like between the last two the last two issues, it almost took like a year for the last two issues to come out. We were just waiting and waiting and waiting for, particularly number 27. That there was a massive gap in space and time between it's the last two issues. This here is a trade paperback of a collaboration between the Planetary and the Authority. And as you know, James Gunn is going to do he's going to release a something regarding the Authority down here below. And so this is an early as DC was expanding at the time in the early 2000s and getting some DC's always somewhat been dark, but got even darker in its telling of stories to include the Planetary and the Authority. And so, real cool book to have that I recommend for reading. Okay, and going back to new books, but acquired an acquisition, but they're new. I mean, very, very new. This one here, this Harley Quinn, number 3 by Sanford Green. Just love this cover, the way Sanford depicts Harley. This is just a smash. I mean, just a killer. And yeah, that's just a real cool one to have. And then, as we talked about, when we had our guest on the show, Philip Kennedy Johnson, on almost a year ago. This, remember, and if you recall and go back and look at in that at that interview with him, that he wanted to do a story on John Stewart. And so this is this is the first book that he did on John Stewart. He's done other stuff in Green Lantern that included John Stewart, but this is the first solo book on John Stewart that Philip Kennedy Johnson wrote. And then and if you don't know what's going on in comic books right now, he is also the writer on The Incredible Hulk. Philip Kennedy Johnson is also writing The Incredible Hulk right now. So if you want to get a good read, he's an excellent writer. I can't can't find any fault with the brother. He's got good stuff, and the artwork, as you see, is gorgeous. Go and get your runs of books on The Incredible Hulk, this latest volume of The Incredible Hulk. You will not be disappointed. And then books that I thought were really cool. This one right here, this Wolverine, that is by Greg Capullo. I think this is the one that I think they re-released and restarted the numbering on Wolverine again. But this is a Greg Capullo variant on Wolverine, and let me make sure, because I don't want to be, if you're going to try to find it, I want to make sure that you're able to find this Greg Capullo variant on Wolverine. So I want to make sure the information I'm giving you is precise, so you can find it. No, okay, so it is Wolverine number 37, not number 1. So pour on me, but here we go. This Greg Capullo variant and it's a virgin variant of Wolverine by Greg Capullo, number 37. And please forgive me for my faux pas. It's a little. You have to pay up a little bit for this one, but it's still worth it. Capullo is a gracious and real cool guy to meet. If you ever get a chance to meet him at a comic book convention, he is most known between doing Spawn covers, as well as the work on Batman, when he was the artist with Scott Snyder during the New 52 series of Batman, and he did gorgeous work in that series. Rick Capullo. And I'm almost done. This variant of Dr. Aphra number 1. This is one that's when you find it, you're gonna have to pay up a little bit for it. It's not cheap. But these Dark Droids cover, variant of Dr. Aphra is awesome. It is gorgeous. It is fantastic, and it's not easy to find. Uh, I can't wait to get this one graded. I have plenty of Dr. Aphra number ones, but I never had this variant with the dark droids. So really, really cool. And then to wrap this thing up, because um the What If series has restarted on Disney Channel, Marvel's What If, and I just started watching the first episode last night. I'm almost finished with it. I got sleepy towards the end of it just because I got up too early in the morning to watch it. But what I'm going to show you next is a kickback and a throwback to the first season of What If, and that is the Marvel Zombies, which was a fantastic story they did in season one of What If. This is the this is the first or the cover A of the first appearance of Marvel Zombies in Ultimate Fantastic Four number 30. This is the Greg Land cover. This is the A cover on Ultimate Fantastic Four. And again, this is the first appearance of Marvel Zombies. And Robert Kirkman. No. Take that back. No, Mark Millar was the creator of Marvel Zombies, and I forgot. And then Robert Kirkman did when this took off and became popular. Robert Kirkman, of course, known for Walking Dead, did the first, I think the first two volumes of the series by itself called Marvel Zombies, but Kirkman did the next one. So anyway, no more talking. This is the variant cover, cover B. This is by Arthur Sweetum on Ultimate Fantasy Four number 30. And then you got with Marvel Zombies again, the story still continues. There's part 2, number 31, the Greg Land cover. And then the B cover, this homage to because I know there's an early Fantastic Four book, Ben Grimm and Monster, and I can't think of the name of it right now. I might be able to put it into the edits, but this is the B cover by Sweetum again, Arthur Sweetum, for issue number 31. A cover for issue number 32 by Greg Land, still on the zombies. Alrighty. And then the B cover by Sweetum again. And this is another homage to one of the earlier Fantastic Four covers, with the first appearance of the Puppet Master. It's probably in one of the first 10 books, I believe, of the Fantastic Four Volume 1. And let me go back and look at number 30. And of course, with number 30, this was an homage to Fantastic Four number 1, the very first issue, with the monster coming out of the ground and Ben Grimm sitting here. This is an homage to the very first Fantastic Four book. And I didn't pay attention to it, but all of those are homage covers that Sweetum does of early Fantastic Four books. Alrighty. And then I think we're about to wrap it up with this book right here. I just love this cover. I'm usually not a fan of Jason Scott Campbell, but he kills this cover. And this is one of the ones that John Michael and I talked about a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, and forgot about how gorgeous this cover was. I think this is probably I have 3 copies of it, but I had to get another one. It was cheap. It wasn't expensive. But I usually don't like J. Scott Campbell, not Jason Shawn, but J. Scott Campbell's work on characters because they look a little flat and cartoony, but not this time. This Spawn rendering by J. Scott is gorgeous. I mean, he smashes this one. So that's a new acquisition, and I bought 2 copies of it. So and as I said, I already had one. So I'm going to get ready to wrap the show up. We've been talking long enough. But those are some of my favorite acquisitions of the year. I have many, many, many more, but those are the ones that I could put my hand on. And if you could see around this room all the different comics and stuff like that I've got around this room, uh, you'd be laughing. And but I try to make this as quick as possible and make this show as meaningful as possible as we start the new year in 2024. I hope you really enjoyed the show, and as much as I enjoyed doing the show. Uh, Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel with Two Ski Geeks. And this is where we help you get your geek on and staying geeked up with comic books and the comic book hobby. And we'll talk to you soon. Thumbs up, holla.